Connection is good. Wonderful. Yay. We are live. Happy New Year. I'm trying to not
Yay!
talk too
Happy New
loud because we have
Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy New
Year!
Year.
Yeah.
All
Welcome
right. So let me do
2024.
yes. As you say hello and chat over there, I just want to make sure that we are live. So we are live on s- a few different platforms simultaneously. This is exciting. We had a little bit of technical difficulties today, but we're still figuring it out. But I think we got it. And here we are. So this is our first Set the Pace official podcast. It is a live. So we've done this for a few years now. We go live with our teams, different people, they come on for different topics, and we talk about very diverse topics. And today I invited our dear Alessandra, who is my astrologer and my one of my best friends, and she's going to talk a little bit about the year of 2024 in connection with how the alignment of everything as far as planets and energetically speaking. And I like that aspect of it because as I've seen, it's not about what you just see, right? It's about what you feel and the things that are here, but we can't really physically see. So, and I love that. And I see it happening over and over again. So, I got one of my besties here, Sue.
Hi guys, Happy New
She
Year!
physically is here in the studio. So, we are in the studio here in Hawaii. And our dear DJ is the one who helps us get it all set up. And he's going to be here with us next week, our special guest. And we have my sweet friend Christina and Teddy. Teddy's in Hawaii too.
Hello.
Next time, Teddy will be physically here too.
Yes.
And Christina is in San Francisco. All right. Well, Happy New Year. Let's get this started. So I chose the set the pace theme for a few reasons. So I was thinking, first I was thinking, maybe I'll call it. I was even brainstorming with DJ. Maybe I'll call it set the pace, move the needle, set the pace, get it done, set the pace, go for progress. But I think set the pace just kind of defines what we are doing and my intention with it. And in
Mm.
competitions for running, they use set the pace, the be the fastest runner in the early part of the race, lead the way in doing or achieving something, to go at a speed that others try to equal, as in a race, to do or be something for others to emulate. So I think a lot of it has to do with also taking the lead, um, provide a standard, right? So we kind of set an example, and also it's about motivation and it's about energizing, and that is my intention with these talks every Monday, is to get establish that criteria to lead, to set the standard, to get that motivation for the week. Monday is my favorite day of the week. It wasn't. It used to not be, but I've learned to embrace and love the process of loving a day, for example, right? So, and that's what I want to talk a little bit about with each of you. And I want you to share, what is your word for the year of 2024? So,
All right, I can start. Well, welcome 2024. Here we are. I think it's gonna be a incredible year. Thank you, 2023. So much happened, and I mean, a lot of lessons and a lot of blessings for sure. So we definitely more grown, more experience, I guess. So I think the set the pace name, and I think why you choose that, it's because it's more intentional. Now we coming to a place that we know who we are, we know what we want, and I think when we think about set the pace, you're more present. Okay, now I'm gonna be more, faster. I want to go more aggressive in some way of my life, or now I'm going to go more like gentle. So I think set the pace is really really awesome. um as your question, my word of the year is union, and the opposite is disunion. Not not being union. So I think I've been already setting the pace for this coming year intentionally. So yeah, so that's my word of the year. I'm excited, and I'm already feeling it, and I can wait for this coming for this year, for this 2024, be even more everybody, because I think together and in union, in really in union, understanding that we are one, and we want the best for ourselves, for each other, for the world, for the planet, for the universe. So I think union, it's a very small word, but it's very strong word. So yeah, so my intention around me and around my family, my friends, my work, my yoga, my exercise, it's union. It's like being together, being communion with everything and with the planet.
I love it. When I'm checking out like the live and just making sure that people can hear us.
Awesome.
Oh, Marquinhos is on there. You're supposed to be here, my friend. But good morning.
Good morning, Marcus.
Good morning, Marcus. You're supposed to be physically here, but hey, it was New Year's Eve last night. Um, so I'm just and union is important, right? So the unity of doing things together. Of course, we already know this because we do things together. In our model of work, we all work together in being wellness advocate. And if we don't do things as a unit, things don't work. So it is teamwork all the way, and that makes things so much better. Yeah. So Chris, what is your word for 2024?
Oh, I was wondering if we were going to talk about that because that's what everyone does during the new year, right? I haven't really selected a particular one. I think that I have a couple of them, and one of them is consistency, another one is motivate, and the other is heal. So I think all of these things are going to be really big in the upcoming year for sure.
Love that. Yeah. And I feel like that's ongoing, lifelong. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
How about you, Teddy?
Okay, so I think for this year, my word is going to be focus. 2023 was full of a lot of distractions for me. And I feel like my adult ADHD just really was triggered all year. So I am going to just be more intentional and, really focus on the word focus. Again, because 2023, I was kind of scattered and all over the place. So that will be my word for this year, is really staying focused.
Love that. And Ale, what is yours?
I was thinking about self-responsibility because it has everything to do with the planet that's going to rule the year, but I also thought about harvest. It's a word that I think is so beautiful, and I think that our team, our group, is mature enough now to get the harvest, to have the harvest being done, right? And I think it's 2024.
Love it. For me, it's sustainability, but not in the sense of, also in a sense of course, lifestyle, but, we, as much as we can, try to use recycled materials and such things. But it's more, for me, really a sustainable way of living, a sustainable way of working. Because if it's not sustainable, even like practices, like yoga practice or your exercise regimen, if it's not sustainable, your eating habits, you don't keep doing it. So, and I've learned it the hard way. I've learned it going through burnout, and we'll talk a little bit about that today, because it has to do with my invitation to you in the next month, starting on the 15th, is to, one, maybe you are burnt out, or maybe you are on the verge of. And I went through a big burnout, and I know what it's like to not lead a not sustainable lifestyle, and mentally, physically, emotionally. At some point, it takes a toll on you. And my goal is to keep teaching and learning sustainable ways to make my life sustainable. So for me, sustainability is the word for 2024.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love all of
So,
them.
and all of them like resonates with me. And I want to know what's your word for 2024. So we can see some comments, but we cannot see them all. Teddy, you're live on Instagram too.
Yes, it worked. Okay, I was trying to focus on that.
I love it.
All right,
absolutely
it's
love it.
working.
So,
Yes.
And we're getting the little details down with all of this. On
Yeah.
my
A
on my
work in
Instagram.
progress.
Yeah.
You know, talking about burnout, I think this word is so. I mean, whenever I think all of us went through burnout at some point in our lives. So why do we get to that point? What's happening that we get to that point? I think it's important that we go all the way back, talking about sustainability, lifestyle, or just life, or just union, focus, and harvest, all of those words that we are choosing for this coming year. But why do we get to that burnout? Setting the pace is a perfect theme for us to go back and look in ourselves and see why. If I set the pace, I'm not going to burn out because I'm intentionally know my pace. So,
Yeah.
okay, that's enough. I know I have my boundaries. Maybe I'm going to go step back in some areas and I'm going to focus on other areas. So I would love to talk about burnout and why we go to that place and where we are at that we go to that place. What do you girls think?
Yeah. Let's not get to that point. So burnout is when your body's so stressed out, your cortisol levels are so high that your body does not know how to cope anymore. And
Yep.
and it takes a while for your body to get to that point. So, but when it does, you have to do pretty extreme work to get it back. And you don't have to do it that way. So it's the whole story of you don't have to get sick to know health, right? So if we're talking like being proactive, we do work, all of us here work with preventative lifestyle. So if you're able to do things every day that keep you sane physically, mentally, emotionally, then the burnout won't happen. But
Very
the whole
true.
point, right? The whole point of us being here together is to talk about how it can be simple, because if it's complicated, you won't do it. How you can take actionable steps towards moving that needle. That was the original name, right? Set the pace, move the needle. And how can you eventually even talk about performing at a higher level? Because at the end of the day, it's about performance. And it doesn't have to
True.
be for athletes. You know, you want to perform as a mom, you want to perform as a wife, as a friend, as a business owner, as a whatever, you know, in your spiritual community, you want to be able to perform at your best. But if it's not simple, you won't do it. And we do have simple tools for that. And we'll talk about the challenge in a little bit. But mark your calendars. On the 15th of January, we're starting a challenge, and we do this a few times a year. I love challenges, and I feel like challenges set the pace.
Me too.
So then you can keep up afterwards. And doing it with a community is that much better. So 15th of January, we start in Brazil and we start in the United States. And simple, actionable steps for you to be able to keep up for a month. And you have a community behind you, supporting you the whole entire time. But before we go into that challenge, I would love for Ali to share some insights about 2024. She did share with us in Brazil last year. And I want you to kind of elaborate a little bit on what we should expect for this year.
Great. It's so amazing because there are a lot of coincidence. We are starting the the competition on January 15th, which is inside the Capricorn season, which is a sign that talks about self-responsibility and also about burnout, because it's a sign, it's an energy that demands a lot from us. We all have all the signs in our chart. Well, first of all, for people that maybe don't know me, I'm Alessandra, I'm an astrologer, and astrology is a language, is a knowledge, an ancient knowledge that help us to be more connected with the movements of the planets and the stars and the position of the stars and everything and the seasons, because we are all made from the same energy. So a long time ago, humans started to realize that we had that connection regarding the cycles of the planets. They first saw at the animals, at the tides, at the harvest of the food. And then they start thinking, why not us? We are made from the same energy. We are a part of this universe. So let's learn about that. Let's observe and let's see how it reflects on us. So it's very funny because set the pace, it's a very Capricorn, Saturn words, expressions. And why are we talking about Saturn? Because this new year is going to be ruled by Saturn from March. It's important to understand that the astrological year starts at the beginning of the spring at the North Hemisphere and fall in the South Hemisphere. But these first months of the year, we can start feeling and prepare for that. Okay, so from March the 20th, Saturn is going to be the ruler for the year, and Saturn has also been the ruler for the long term since 2017, and is going to be like that for 36 years until 2052. So this means that we have the long cycle and the short cycle ruled by this planet. This has also happened once in our lifetime. That was in 2017. It doesn't mean that the year has to be the same. It could be, of course, it's going to be different things, but it's the same energy. Last time that we had Saturn with a long cycle was 250 years ago. So it was not in this lifetime. Okay?
Wow.
So
Wow.
Saturn is a big and very demanding professor. He's the god of time. He's the god of karma. He's very demanding. It's that kind of teacher that we had in our lives that we will never forget. So Saturn comes to demand our excellence. And we have to make things right. We have to do our homework. We need to work hard, but not burn out. Work hard is different from burning out. And we need to be very responsible and mature. And that's why I also think that harvest is related to Saturn. About the myth of Saturn, it was a god that was very afraid of a curse that he had. The curse was that one of his sons would take his power. So every son, every daughter that was born, he used to eat them until his wife was so fed up that she said, I can't stand this anymore. So she protected one of them that was Jupiter or Zeus. And after a battle of 10 years, Zeus took over Saturn's power and became the god of everything. And it's funny because while Saturn was so afraid about the curse, he didn't live well. He was always insecure and afraid and being violent to his children. And once he got rid of the curse and he went to live in exile, he just relaxed and he could enjoy life. But it was in the second half of his life. So that's why we say for Capricorn people, especially that are ruled by Saturn, that the life starts at 40 years old, sometimes even 50 years old, because it was the best time of his life. And so, in that manner, he was connected to prosperity, even to agriculture. It was the golden era. So, in all of us, we have in our chart, we have a place where we have this planet, Saturn, and we also have the sign of Capricorn. Okay. The good thing about knowing your own chart is that you're going to be able to know in which area of your life this energy that's going to be so strong in 2024 is going to act. How is the Saturn in your chart? Is it in a good conversation with other planets? It's in a bad conversation. It is in a house that is easier or in a more difficult house. Every house has a theme, has a subject. So it's interesting because a lot of people fear Saturn because of this high demanding way of being. But I think that thinking about us, our team, I think that it's very, the synchronicity is very nice because we are getting to a more mature stage of our group, as a team, as all this big group below Pamela's. And I think it's time for us exactly to start getting the awards from Saturn. We have been working very hard, and I think it's time for that. In the other hand, people that are not working so hard or not being self responsible, not blaming everyone else, okay? As I did with Mercury retrograde at the beginning of the recording, it's going to do well, okay? So the words here are responsibility, self responsibility, especially working hard, being strategic, look to your mountain, see where you want to go. Do not compare yourself with others because this is a very negative part of Saturn and Capricorn. Do not compare yourself, do not be insecure because other people's timing is different from yours. Okay. And I think that if we do that, the year is going to be very productive and very interesting. It's an unforgettable year. We have lots of other aspects going on in this year as well. But of course, we are talking more about Saturn because it's going to be ruled by this energy.
I love it. So basically, it is the year of you doing the things that you know need to be done. And if you know that you're not doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, Saturn will make sure that he'll bring it back to you.
Exactly. As a very demanding and good teacher, okay? We have to think as an exercise to grow, not as a punishment. If we start seeing as a punishment, it won't work as well. It won't work either.
Yes, and Ali has been following the whole process of, we are all part of the same team, and we are all here together. We're doing the same type of work, and yes, there is a maturity of that time brings. I'm a strong believer in time and the processes that have to take the time for us to be able to learn them, to process them, and earn it. And I think a lot of what we do is earning, and time is a big factor in what we do. And we've been here for a long time. Like Teddy has been here. What is it? You're in 8th year now, Teddy?
I'm going on my 10 years.
10th
Wow.
year. Yes.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yes. So Teddy
Yeah.
and I have
February.
been working together
Yes.
for 10 years. And Christina, about
I think
9,
I just
right?
celebrated 7 or 8
Yeah.
was in November.
I go by the girl's age.
Yeah, me too.
Lily,
I know.
Lily was about
I
2,
can't
right?
remember. I think Lily was already born. So yeah, I think we're about 7 or 8 years in.
Yeah. And I want to ask you this: why do you keep showing up?
Um, well, because like I said, one of my words is heal. And I just know that what we have is so important to share with everybody. And so I'm going to keep doing it. It makes me emotional because there's so many people that need our help in the world. And there's so many ways to achieve the help. And it's important for everybody to show up in their road, right? So medical professionals are there in their road to be there when the people want to travel down that path. We, yoga professionals and um, astrologers and everyone's on their road. And so it's up to the person to choose which road they want to travel down for their experience, for their growth, for their healing, for whatever they want to do in life. And so I show up because I want to keep being on that road for people. Because I know that when people are on the road for me, it's so important and so valuable. And so that's just part of me is showing up for people and helping others. It's what I feel
I love
called to
it.
do.
And that is
Yeah.
so responsible, isn't it? It's such a mature responsibility way of seeing life, of helping others and not just keeping, because it would be very easy for us to just keep for ourselves and do it with our family and not needing this crazy medicine anymore. And that's it. But no, we keep on coming back because of
Yeah.
responsibility.
Right. It's
Yeah,
the cancer in me. It's the nurturing mother. I have a need to nurture others.
yeah,
Absolutely.
she does. And she's a brilliant biologist, has done incredible work here in Hawaii with wildlife. And her love for nature is really inspiring and brilliant when it comes to teaching classes, learning, being able to learn and teach. And every time she's in her genius when she is implementing new systems, and that's what she's doing right now. So her and
Yeah.
Teddy are partnering, and they have classes every week, right? So every week
Mhm.
you teach some sort of class that is open to the public.
Definitely. Yeah, we have the Teddy and I have created Transformation Tuesdays, live Instagram and on YouTube as well. And so now that we have been introduced to StreamYard, maybe we'll start to work with that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We do random topics. We're open to topics if people want us to, chat about something. But a quick little gathering every Tuesday just to say hi to everyone and share
And
knowledge.
share knowledge, I think, and that's what's important. Is there's so much information out there on the internet that you don't really know who it's coming from source wise. So I just again want to make sure that my customers, or just anybody that's showing interest in the use of essential oils or natural healing, is getting information from somebody who has experienced it. For example, I have a friend that used oregano oil. She read somewhere on the internet to use it topically on a cold sore, and the results were not. I mean, it worked, but her skin was
Burn.
it was almost damaged. Yes, and so we quickly did a pivot, and I had her use the correct X and some other, different oils, and it healed up faster within a few days. So again, that's, all the stuff that we have, these protocols, either we know somebody or we have used it ourselves. And again, 10 years prior to using doTERRA essential oils, I was already doing the word biohacking. I was already doing that like 20 years ago before it was actually a word. So I was already doing things, eating clean. I was doing breath work, meditation, and stuff like that. And that is in my DNA to just work on healing myself, because I have had serious health issues in the past, and I've gotten great results when I've learned to tune into my body and using holistic methods. And again, like Christina talked about earlier, we're here to coexist with modern medicine. Okay, not we're in the phase where it's not exactly going to replace certain things, but there's a lot we can do. We have control over more than people know. Most of the average American people get their advice from somebody wearing a white coat. They spend their time going to see their primary care physician for just little things. And again, if you start to address those little things right away, it's more about preventative. So I've been really working on a lot of preventative natural stuff for, probably half of my life, over half of my life now. So that
What's
is
very
why,
interesting? Sorry, that I think that with this double Saturn on 2024, people that mislead other people with wrong protocols just to sell, people that focus only on the money wise, are going to have a hard year. It's a year to be very, very responsible and very ethical. So I
yeah,
think that's very interesting, because I think that we are going to see a separation from things.
Yep.
That is refreshing.
And I think we kind of
Yeah.
already start seeing, no?
Yes.
That's so interesting, listening to Christina and Teddy talking about their experience. And I've been knowing them since my day, from day one, working with them. So it's really important. That's what we do. That's what it's our calling. It's sharing our experiences, sharing our knowledge. How do we use this? And it's so, and right now we can see how is this effect of people wanted to, at the same time, there's people that they want to know, they don't believe, and there's other people that are really into, and we can see how is being more open. Everybody everywhere is more open for that. And like when you mentioned about harvest, it's those kind of people. It's like Teddy, it's like Christina, Pam, all of us are like, okay, we know what we talk about. We know what we're talking about. So we can talk to you. We can share with you what we know, what we want, if you want to hear, if you want to listen to. So I think that's really, really important. Even though sometimes we think it's not working, it's just, oh, it's not happening. It's not working. It's so hard. People are not listening to me, but they are. And it's happening, even though it's 10 years, 6, it is happening.
Yeah.
And then coming from that place, the real place that we want to really help, because you have the knowledge, you have the experience. I think that the harvest you were mentioning that we're going to collect,
Yes.
the fulfillment of really helping people, genuinely helping people that want us to be healed, want us to be helped.
Yeah, and
Studying is something very important to study. It's something that's going to, every demanding teacher requires from us to study. And sorry, Pam, just one thing that I just remember now, that in numerology, 2024 is going to be a year that has the number 8 energy, which is a very strong number. It's a very, very strong number. It is related to harvest. That's why my word also. And at the tarot is the card of justice that is coming this year. So I think that can be an incredible year, And just to complement this incredible year, on January the 21st, we are going to have the planet Pluto going into Aquarius for a period of 20 years. And Aquarius is the collective, and Pluto is the power. So It's the power of the collective. It's the power of the group. Of
Love
course,
that.
We didn't
it
know,
can.
but we
Awesome.
intuitively went there.
So we are all
See?
synchronized. You see how synchronized we are? And of
Yes.
course, people can misuse, okay? Pluto in Aquarius is not going to be only good, nice, collective things. It's going to have a lot of manipulation, especially from powerful people. But the main reason of Aquarius is to help to be what is your part in a group? What is your role in that group? And Pluto is transformation by power. So we need to use it wisely together with Saturn. And I think we can have an incredible, incredible year.
Yeah, and we even so the end of last year, well, 2 weeks ago, we did our last get together because we do our team get-togethers on Zoom, and we did the one for Brazil, and I intuitively wanted to bring long term into the talk, and that was the focus. The focus was, look at your lifestyle, like your types of wealth. Financial wealth and social wealth is what your status, your popularity, like the people that you're around. Time wealth, which is freedom, right? And I call it time flexibility, really, and geographic flexibility as well. And there's physical wealth and spiritual wealth. The thing about it is, and we talked about long term with all that included, is that many times when you get offered things that fulfill number 1 and 2, which is financial and social, they rob you of the others. They rob you of your time and your physical wealth and your spiritual wealth, which is connected to your emotional wealth. So I think when you're able to have all-rounded, all of the boxes are checked, I feel like that's when it's sustainable. So, and there are ways to do that, and we will be talking about it through the year. But you need to be very open, and you need to want to make it happen. So if you're not open to it, if you don't want to make it, if you're always in the settling mode, it's very hard to check all the boxes, right? And that has a lot to do with the whole idea of what we do here, which is, I believe every human being should be happy. You're here to be happy. At the end of the day, there's no other reason why we want to do things and create things and be things other than you want to feel truly happy, right?
Yep.
So, and that's why we do this. At the end of the day, sounds cliche, but hey, we're doing this because I want you to become happy,
To be excited about Mondays. That's a very strong sign, because everybody else usually goes like, oh my God, another Monday. And if you're excited about starting your week with what you do, I think you're in the right path.
Yeah, I love Mondays. I teach yoga on Mondays too, right? That's one of my hobby passions. And
It's
I always
the
start
moon
my
day.
class.
Mondays is the moon day, is the day of the moon.
Moon day.
Each day belongs to one planet, and the moon and the sun. Monday is the moon.
I love Mondays.
Oh.
I always start my classes on Mondays. I go, Monday's my favorite day of the week. And they all laugh, right? And I think it changes the mindset of the whole too. To kind of like, it doesn't really matter the day. Like if you're happy any day, right? And any place really. So that, I think that's the focus for the whole entire year is long term. It all makes sense when Ali shared with us, because I've been here 12 years now. So I know how long I've been patient and waiting, and not just waiting, I've been acting on it every single day. This is what I do. But I've been waiting for this year. This year is going to be incredible. Like I know it, I feel it, right? Like we have this knowing that this is it. This is our year.
And two other things, sorry to interrupt you all the time, but 12 years, it's the cycle of Jupiter, which is the planet for prosperity. So it means that this year you're going to be with Jupiter in the same place when you started doTERRA. because that's the full cycle of Jupiter takes 12 years. Okay, so it's all, I think it's all synchronized so well.
Yeah, I see it. And I choose themes, and then Ali comes after and goes, well, this is connected to that. The name of my company is Collective Glow, right? This is, and that came about when Aquarius was coming in before the pandemic. That's when I did the
Mhm.
whole rebranding, because I just
Mhm.
felt that that was the time, and then it's always interestingly aligned. Yeah, and I love it. So, and that's the whole idea too, is for you to be able to connect back to that intuition. We undermine how powerful our intuition is. That is your compass. That will guide you to your north, guaranteed. The moment you're able to just open up to it and tune into it, like Teddy said, you're able to have that north all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible. So let's talk a little bit about our challenge. As I had family visitors, right, in the past couple weeks here, which is amazing. Colleen is one of my best friends. She's like my sister. She was here, and we are just having incredible talks up until yesterday. But we go off a little bit our routine, right? I had like a little bit more champagne than normal. We probably ate things that we usually don't eat, and that's the beauty of living. Because what is what life is about if you can't enjoy the things you like? So, but bringing back that sustainability, obviously, the way that I lived in the past 2 weeks isn't sustainable. So, if I do that for the rest of the year, I probably won't love Mondays that much anymore. But but I'm excited about the reset. So we're calling it the metabolic reset, and 30 days to change your mind and body, and spirit too, if that is if resonates with you. So we do this with different programs, but this time, which what I'm really excited about is you guys will meet DJ. He, like I mentioned him before, he's a trainer. I'll drop his Instagram here for you all to follow him. He's been doing this for a while, and he has like 2% body fat. If you look at the guy, you look at him, you're like, wow. So then I asked
Everybody's
him,
go.
yes, he's extremely fit, right? And super kind too, super sweet. Him and his wife are incredible. And so I asked him, hey, would you test this system for me? And he is open, and he is she was excited. He's like, yeah, I'll test it out. Because we were talking about NMN, and not a lot of people know about NMN. But if you are in fitness and that is your main purpose, right? That's not only your job, it's your purpose, it's your mission, which is the case of DJ. He said, what? NMN? Yes, we know about it, right? And there is a synthetic form, just like lots of other industries. We have the synthetic version of it. And then, of course, what we do is we have the natural version of it. So we have this natural version of NMN, and which is a precursor to NAD+, which Christina loves talking about this because she's the biologist. But I learned, and another thing too that I want to reiterate that Ali mentioned, we study a lot. Like I'm constantly studying. I'm now almost finishing up a course to do cortisol testing on people. So I feel like I'm really passionate about this, right? So we're always constantly being taught, and we are being trained consistently by the company too. And so I went on to ask him to test it out, thinking, right? Person is super fit. Well, probably gonna feel a little bit, maybe nothing. I don't know. So then he said, I definitely feel my cardio. So I was happily surprised. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, I know we have the best of the best, right? And for energy, for focus, for physical performance, but also for, I think, the burnout that we mentioned in the beginning. As a mom of 3, all of us here are mothers, and it is an extra energy that you need there for you to be a mom too. So I think for me, that was the system that kind of saved me at that time. It was in 2021 that we tested the system. I was part of the testing group, and it couldn't be better timing. It was divine timing for sure. So they called me. They're like, "Hey Pam, we're putting the system out in a few months. Will you test it out for a month?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Give it to me." So they sent it
Yes,
over.
please.
Yes, please. Only a month. So then I tested out, but just like anything, right? So you go in and you're like, cool, I'll test it out. Not thinking much of it, right? We have different types of things that we've been taking and pretty good with supplements. But the second day, I could tell something shifted. And that's when I was like, that's different. And it was simple, as simple as putting a little sachet in the water and drinking it, right? That is the challenge. The challenge, I think, is not just drinking the thing. The challenge is you committing to doing it every day and being consistent in that habit creation, right? How many times I hear people, but I always forget. And I'm like, if you forget to show up for yourself, I don't know what else you can show up for, right?
Mhm.
Showing up is like half of the battle. So if you can't remember to just do that self-care every single day for you, then I don't know if it's really that important. But if you do a metabolic reset for a month, which for me is nothing, it's such little time, and you will see crazy results. And we'll be sharing some before and afters starting next week. So we start on the 15th, and everybody's welcome. You speak to your doTERRA person that holds your hand, that walks you through the whole path. And we have a whole community here to give support. Every week here, we'll be breaking down a little bit of the science and the technology of the system, so it makes sense, so people understand why it is so effective, right? I could very much just drop the link for the course, which most of you won't do, right? You're like, no, not going to do a course. So we're just going to talk about it and teach you very, very fast. But then you get the benefits and you're like, yeah, it's simple, right? And how was your experience, Christina, Teddy? Oh, Ali's befores and afters were like,
But I'm looking at Christina, and it has been a while that we have been together in a life, and she is 15 years younger. I'm so amazed. No, it's incredible. You've done your before and after
I
pictures?
haven't. I should. I did do a face one too, but yeah, I should do it.
I can easily grab a live from beginning of last year
Yeah,
No.
just
and
or
compare.
a picture from before, from that time when you started, because I was really amazed because it's been a while that we haven't been done together. Yeah, my before and afters are quite impressive, and I still hope to do better.
Yeah, well, Alice before and after were like, whoa. My assistants before and after. I put in our group, the United States group, we have a leader group. Like insanity. Like, you guys will see next week. It's so cool. But then you see the physical changes, but
Yeah.
the actual like emotional and cognitive for me were the biggest.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I have pictures too. I feel like I got results fairly quick. Like Pam said, the cognitive thing, and then continuing it now, I think I feel well. Again, we did the scale measurements, and I definitely saw leaner muscle mass improvements. My BMI improved, but these like skin wise, I feel like it's really shifted. I've had these raised moles. I don't know if you could see them, right? So they've been raised for several years, and they are starting to flatten into my skin. So that is, and again, that the only difference was taking this system. And again, it happened to my sister-in-law too. Her skin tags that were, like raised and flappy started just flattening and reverse aging, right? Settling into the skin. So so yeah, that is interesting. I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, they're just like disappearing. So yeah,
I was also amazed. Something that I don't hear people saying too much is about the pains, joint
Right.
pains.
Yeah.
Mine, they disappeared on the third day. On the
Right.
third day of the collagen, they start to disappear, and also the mood, the humor. I've noticed that as well. And I don't see a lot of people talking about that. And for me, it was incredible as well.
That's
Yeah.
definitely one of the things that I finally noticed. Like, I got in a moped accident when I was living in Hawaii, and I actually broke my kneecap. And ever since then, I've obviously had a little bit of issues with that particular knee, but both knees, you know. And I did when you're living with pain and all this stuff, you kind of like, okay, it's just another thing. But when it goes away, um, well, I don't know. I feel like it takes a little bit longer to like realize it because you're just living with it all the time, right? And so it's not in the front of your brain like this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. It's just like and then so one day, you know, I bent down and there wasn't the clack, 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 like going down and back up, and I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. Like what? Like so yeah, that's absolutely one of the things I noticed right away, and the mood. But I love the system because if you're not one to work out, you'll still see and feel a difference. It's true. Like there's a lot of people who are unmotivated to work out, but I will say that being on the system will change you so much that you will start to feel the urge to at least start walking. You know, it will help
Vitality.
you, yeah, give you some motivation and get out
Exactly.
there to do some walking or to find a little 1 pound weight, because the smallest thing can make a big impact when you've done nothing for a while.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see. And that's what I think is so hopeful about this challenge, because especially in the new year, right? Everyone's going to be bombarded right now with all of these challenges and new year, new you, and like all these things, right? But a lot of them are focused on eating something specific and working out XYZ times and, you know, doing all this. But that's not necessarily what our challenge is about. Absolutely, you can do those things and you'll see way more impact quicker, but you can do just the smallest of thing, like take a little drink, you know, once a day and a supplement, and you will see a difference.
And the
it's awesome.
synchronicity, it's so amazing because Saturn rules skin and bones.
There we
Yeah,
go.
Okay,
I can
so
share my experience. I start the system September 2022 when they launched the product, right? And I went full on. I went, okay, I was already committed to go back to, I never work out like a gym workout before. Yoga teacher for over 2 decades, pretty much. And okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. It's a challenge for me. I'm gonna do this the right way in my head, right? And I went full on taking every day, doing the system, choosing, because there's some 5 products on the system, and I chose the ones that I think I was committed to take, besides all the supplements that I'm already taking in. And okay, now almost year in September, October, year and 3 months later, I think the biggest thing for me was definitely a lot of things. The full spectrum, I got it. But the biggest thing was clarity and was energy. Energy for me is really big. I'm as a yoga practitioner, and I've been really want to save my energy because I can get my energy out of it really fast. So I want to have more energy. And I'm like, okay, if this is going to give me more energy to keep my day going on, because it's a lot of going on nowadays, right? And that's what I want. That's the results that I want. But I got way bigger results. Like you mentioned, skin, fitness, well, because I combined with the full workout. I was
Gosh, look at your pictures before and after. I'm waiting for her to let us share.
And this is super cool. You see the before and after picture, like the physical part. Wow, that's beautiful. But I'm go back to my energy, my head, my mind, how am I feeling? And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I think and even this day, I take every day. There's the 2 things that I don't miss it. Taking it, I can miss anything else, but those 2 I cannot miss it. And I think this challenge is perfect for if you want to commit to yourself, if you want to have more energy, if you want to have more clarity, if you want to feel good, if you want to combine with your workout, do it. We're not getting any younger. So do your workout, do what you have to do in your life, to whatever you like to do it, and use this special, very special product that we have right now. I think everybody needs to be on it. Young, I mean, 25 years older, you need to be on it.
Well, we have athletes on it though, and they are not 25, and they talk about their performance, which is incredible, right? They're athletes, they're high performance athletes. But you know, the psychological aspect of you committing to 30 days, I think it's because when it comes to you staying mentally motivated and committed to a routine, 30 days seems to be the idea of something that ends. So you're like, oh, I don't have to do this forever. You don't, right? But the cool thing is around week 3 or 4, you start feeling really good, you know, and that goes for exercise, which I think is it might be one of the challenging ones when it comes to doing challenges. This is not a fitness challenge, but it is a tool for you to be able to maybe go for that goal. The befores and afters that we're going to show next week are not of people doing any fitness with it, right? So can you imagine if you did add the fitness aspect of it? And DJ is going to talk a little bit more about that because that's his focus and specialty. But I think, well, I'm a big fan of fitness. We started F45, it's called, and you will have some professionals from F45 coming on as well and sharing a little bit. But the whole idea of doing it as a group also, I think, is the key for us to be able to keep up and create the habits and keep the habits. And you start feeling really good where it becomes fun all of a sudden, right? And then you start, like, your body's asking for it, your mind is asking for it. So then it doesn't become work anymore. It's almost like I woke up this morning and I already knew I set the pace. It has to do with setting the pace. So I set the pace this morning, went to do Coco Head. If you've never been to Coco Head, you should go do it. If you don't live in Hawaii, when you come to Honolulu, you go do Coco Head. That is a super challenge, but it's also a way for me to set my pace for what's going to happen in the rest of the day, right? So I think that's our invitation to all of you for today. We start our challenge on the 15th. We have Dr. Gabby talking about the importance of metabolism next Monday. And she's a researcher. She also focuses on the metabolic system. And she is a genius when it comes to education. So you can get that from her for free, her time, for our next podcast Monday. Okay. But again, you have incredible professionals that are here to give us support, and they will share their brilliance and we learn from them. At the same time, I want to always remind myself and everybody else for us to just always be self-reliant. You know, you can go after this information, you can do it yourself, and then you can count on the community for you to keep up with what you set yourself out to do. So the community is for that, right? And we're going to talk about cost too, but you can choose to start. The challenge can go from anywhere from $85 to $220. It depends on what you choose to do. So you choose what is your budget. Okay, it's not total. It's something super accessible for a whole month. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about that next week. We'll break it down more in more detail. So last words of encouragement here for 2024. You want to share a little bit for us to close out?
Get ahead of the game and get on your health before it becomes a problem. We can do this together.
Love it.
This is your year.
Now is the time. Now is the time. Don't leave it for tomorrow. Now is the time. Let's do this. We can do this.
We are going to the Aquarius era together as a group and with a challenge, with health. So I don't see any other better way to get inside an era like we are doing.
I love that. There is a quote, I just looked it up by Jim Rohn, and he says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. So this is my intention for this year. So let's do this. We can do this together. Yeah. Thank you for your
Yes.
presence. Thank you for your love. And
Heart.
I love you, my sisters.
Heart.
Aloha.
Thanks, you guys. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.